Well, hey there, it's Elke.
And Jen, and welcome to another Zazzle tech training. And today we are talking about how to change your Zazzle store name. And the reason why we're talking about this is because throughout your Zazzle journey and creating on Zazzle and becoming a Zazzle designer, sometimes we create a store and then we realize that the store name doesn't fit because well, for our brand and for our vision and the way we want to move going forward with our Zazzle business, sometimes we like to change it because it's not exactly where we want it to be from when we
Yeah,
first started.
yeah, and like, what kind of examples are those? Like we've switched from pets to photography, or
Yeah, well, first of all, it depends on like what you've thought of when you first opened up your first Zazzle store name. And I know you've probably heard me say that my first store was called Jen Clarke 78 because I thought it was more like a username that wouldn't be seen visually by like the real world on the outside. But when I created that store name, then obviously my store and the name and the URL is Jen Clarke 78. And I didn't want that actually. So I decided to change my name. Other Zazzle designers have, as you mentioned, like they first started out in pets or florals or, as an artist, and you've created a store name that's based on a specific type of thing or product or niche that you think that you're going to follow through. And then later on, maybe a couple months later or even years later, you decide, wow, my brand has actually become more this, and I'm not sticking with my store that says I love dogs. I actually want to get more into, let's say, graduations or parties or whatever it may be. And you realize that your store name just really doesn't jive with your brand and the direction that your store is going in. So first of all, we want to say that when you create a store, your store has a unique name and it also has a unique URL. When you create the store, you generate that URL, and that URL cannot be changed. So if going forward you realize that you want a new URL for your store, you have to open up a completely new store. However, you might run into the problem where you've built up your store for a really long time and you have many, many products. And so creating a new store will actually be a lot more work and hassle than just changing the name. And yes, that might be a problem going forward if your brand becomes really big and you want your URL to be specific, like zazzle.com/store/your name. And so you have to think about that going forward. And that's why we like to warn Zazzle designers when they first start out that thinking about your Zazzle store name is actually very important going forward, because you don't want to be years in and then all of a sudden realize that the URL doesn't fit with what's going on.
yeah.
But there's a
But if you
quick
can't
fix.
help it,
Yeah, if there's a
then
quick
here we're going
fix.
to talk about some workarounds.
Yeah, so there's a quick fix if you don't mind about that and you want to change your Zazzle store name so that when someone comes onto your Zazzle homepage, they see the name of the new name that you've chosen.
Yeah, and the name is going to be associated with each one of your products that you publish.
Yeah.
So it's really important that if you don't like your name and you're actually realizing that it doesn't fit with the niche that you've decided to design in, there is this really important thing that we're going to show you as to where you can change it, and it's going to help you create more brand identity. It still won't get solve that problem of the URL, but a lot of times you don't have to give out your URL to your Zazzle store. Instead, you can just give out the link to your product, and then when people see your product or they're in the Zazzle store homepage that you've made, then you're going to be fine anyway, because it's going to all look really cohesive because of the things we're going to show you how to do.
So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right now. And we are on Zazzle.com. We're logged into our store. And just so everyone knows who's watching this video, this is a working Zazzle store. This is part of like Elke's income. She's created this store as a sample store for our signature course called the Profit by Design Academy, but it's very much a working store that still makes money. And so anything that you see here that we share publicly with you cannot be copied. Please don't copy the banner. Please don't copy the products, the designs, the names, anything, because this is obviously copyrighted material and it's actually illegal if you do so. We've had many problems in the past
and they've all been taken down.
Yeah. So just a disclaimer, this is our property. Okay, so we're on our store. You need to make sure that you're in the back end. When you're in the back end, quote unquote, you will see the button here that says view public storefront. So that means that you can actually access your settings. If you don't see this settings tab, it means that you're viewing the store as a publicly like as a person or a customer, and you want to make sure that you go into your back end. So it's really as easy as clicking on your settings, and then you'll see that there is your store name right here. And all you have to do is change this to something different. So say I actually didn't want my store to be named Designed Just For You. I would delete this and I would change it, and then I would go down and scroll down and I would say submit and save. And this name here, which when you go back to your store, you say that this name here is there. If you change it, then you'll see the new name. And for
so
anyone,
it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
But people forget that they have so many things that they have in the settings
Yeah.
area of their store that they can actually manipulate and move and maneuver. And this is one of the key things.
Yeah. So it's as easy as that. You can also click on the no, I was going to say that you could click on that, but
you can do it when you're in the other mode.
Yeah, and when you're in the other mode and viewing the public storefront, or sorry,
yeah, which is kind of weird because you're still in the back end, but if you click on it,
the internet's a bit slow, but it's working. So here, when you're in the public storefront, which means that you see the banner and you see your store as if the customer would see it, you can,
if you're logged in,
you can see the little pencil icon here. And then when you click on that pencil, it'll actually take you to where we just clicked on in the settings in the back end. And you change it here. The one thing that we wanted to mention is that if you do change your name, then this is the only place where it will be changed on your homepage. And then when you click on any of your designs, like your products, you'll see that, for example, the name of the store is right here. This will also change. So anyone who's a customer and clicks on one of your designs will see this right away as your store name. The only thing that will not change is up here at the top, you can see that we have a specific URL designated for this store. This will still stay the same. And actually we've changed our store name here, Designed Just For You, because originally it was Designed_Just For You, because Designed Just For You wasn't available, and we need to have that underscore. So we changed the store name to be more fitting and more like professional looking, rather than having it have an underscore underneath it.
And that was part of the training, just to show you that that's possible. And also anyone who has made their store name really clever, but it's all stuck in like as one big word, there's no spaces and so on in the URL, you can easily go into the settings and change it so that the words are properly spaced out. If you want to have capitals on each of the first word, like the word for like Design Just For You has a capital on the as the first letter on each of the words. Things like that are all really important because it creates a brand. And so this is your opportunity to do that.
Yes. So it's really as easy as going into your settings and then changing the store name and clicking save.
So everyone watching, each one of you is now going to switch out your store name so that it looks great. And if you run into any of these like underscore things or dashes or squished together, all together one word, even though it's 5, you now have the opportunity to make it much nicer looking, and it'll help you with your branding for your store and that customer trust that we're always looking for to help you look professional, and it's going to pay off.
So thank you so much for watching this episode of the Zazzle Tech Training with myself and Elke, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.